So I'm driving back, and for any of you who have ever made a trek out of Los Angeles, there's this mountain range along the north of LA. And you kind of have to like emerge past that. And of course, on the way back, you have to go through this little curvy mountain range pass. And my car is not amazing. It's just kind of like a standard Honda. So I'm trying to like drive up this hill, and no matter how hard I floor on the gas pedal, my car will just not go above 60. I'm just like, like the engine's so loud, trying to get up. And finally I start to crest the hill and pass about 8 signs that say watch downhill speed. I'm like, look at that. Look, wow. Oh, wow. What's wanting me to watch the downhill speed? And I look at my speedometer and it says 90. And I'm like, well, that's funny. I guess that's what happens when I don't stop flooring it. So I'm driving 90, and I'm like, well, let me just ease up on the brakes, and the guy next to me is passing me, and I'm like, well, that guy needs to watch his downhill speed. That's not very safe. And as I'm thinking this thought, these incredible, gigantic, bright lights turn on behind me with flashing red. It was the cops. As I found out eventually. But at the time I didn't know that. I was just driving fast, and all of a sudden these floodlights turn on, and I'm like, ah, ah, and I'm like sitting there like looking around like really scared. Oh, and by the way, while I'm being pursued by the police, the following song is playing. I'll just go ahead and play it, because you'll just realize how it doesn't match. Let me just show you the pan. Really soft, gentle driving music for making love in the rain is playing. But the problem is, I don't actually know that it's the police, because it doesn't look like a cop car. Normally it's like the blue and red, bright flashing lights, but this had like 8 floodlights and 1 red blinker. So it looked either like a construction vehicle, but a lot more like some sort of truck from a horror movie that's being driven by a werewolf, zombie, vampire, demon. So I'm just freaking out, and I realize that my music's really loud. And I'm actually driving for a minute with this like guy behind me. So I turn the volume down, and then I hear something. So I roll down the window, and I hear a really annoyed police officer on a megaphone being like, "Come on, pull over! Come on! Come on, pull over! Come on! Sir! Sir, come on!" And I'm like, damn it! So I like start to move over to the shoulder, and I'm moving over to the shoulder. He's like, "Don't pull over here, keep going, go to the scales." And he's referring to the truck scales, because they have weighing stations on the highways in LA. But I'm just completely flustered. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just, what scale? So I just keep stuttering and stopping, and he's like, "No, pull forward, come on, pull forward, not there, stop, pull over, not there, keep going." So I'm like doing this, and my foot, I can't control my foot. I can control my hands under pressure because I've played Brood War for 10 years, but I can't control my feet. I'm not one of those DDR nerds, and in fact I've broken this foot a couple of times. So I'm just like, ugh. So finally I pull over, and I'm just like, ugh. Just like sitting there, just like, oh, this is gonna suck so bad. Now let me just know, when I'm, say, walking to school or in the shower having a conversation in my head, I'm the biggest badass of all time, right? I don't take shit from nobody. But when a cop comes along, my spine turns to jelly, and I become a gigantic quivering loser, right? I'm just like, so I like unroll my window. I'm waiting for the inevitable. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And my window's kind of halfway down. He's like, unroll your window. Put your hands on your seat. Put your hands on the wheel. Unroll the window. Hands on the wheel. So I'm like, just like trying to do it. I'm like holding it. So he comes over, and he's like, license and proof of registration. So I'm like, okay. I hand him my license, and he goes, "Are you from Kansas?" And I'm like, yes, officer, I'm from Kansas. And he's like, "Do you live in California?" And he's like, and I'm like, yeah. "Oh yeah, I'm driving home right now." And he's like, "And you don't have a California license? How long have you lived in California?" And I'm like, "Oh, not long, just 5 or or 9 years or so. He's like, 9 years? You've lived in California for 9 years and you don't have a California license? And I'm like, just, 6 or 9 years, something like that. And he's like, all right, well, let me see your registration and proof of insurance. And I'm like, okay, no problem, no problem. I'll get on that right now. Thank you for asking me. So I try to open up my glove compartment, but I went on a date not long ago. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I took this beautiful girl out on her date. Her name was Felicity. And I wanted to keep my car nice and clean for Felicity, so I stuffed all the shit in my car in the glove compartment. So I open it up, and I'm just like pulling out like empty Starbucks drinks and energy drink cans, and there's like a calculator there, not a cool TI-86, but like a bright fluorescent, a stupid looking calculator like that would be for some kid who's not getting math. Look at the friendly blue multiplication button. And I'm just like, thank you so much for bearing with me. I promise I will get it right now. He is just deeply disappointed in me. So finally, I just sift through all these papers and hand him the license and registration. And he's like, where are you coming from? And I'm like, Las Vegas. I don't know what it is, but generally when I've been pulled over by the police are actually just general nice people trying to do a job, but no matter what they ask, I feel like such an idiot. I feel actually like the dumbest person in America every time a police officer asks a question. So he goes, where are you driving from? And I'm like, like Las Vegas. I can't say Las Vegas. Just saying that sounds way too strong. I want to be unsure and kind of gentle and sort of hand-wavy about it. Kind of Vegas. Kind of ish. He's like, coming from Vegas, huh? Well, do you know how fast you were going? And I was like, well, I was trying to watch my downhill speed, but I know it was over 80. I don't want to be like, woo, I don't know, 90? Maybe I hit 3 digits, but man, I was certainly starting to hit the speed of light. You can't be honest about it. I have to be ashamed. So I'm like, 80. And he goes, try 87. And of course, because it's a cop, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. That's appalling. And he's like, why'd it take you so long to pull over? And I can't say, because your truck looked like it was from the 8th episode of Supernatural. Like, what the hell is that? Are you trying to pull over the dead? What are you doing with the floodlights? So I just said, I don't know, your lights really confused me. And I've never seen someone be more disappointed than me than my entire life. This was even worse than when I failed a history class in high school and I tried to hide the report card from my mom and she found it. The disappointment was so high. I don't know, your lights, they didn't make sense. And then he just stares at me, and because he's staring at me, I have to fill in more details. So I'm like, I don't know, there's normally a blue light and I just didn't see a blue light, so I didn't really know what to do. And he's like, well, you took so long to pull over that I couldn't pull over the other guy. I was going to pull over both of you. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. You can't pull over 2 people at once. One of them will just drive away. But I can't question anything. I just went, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry about that. I'm so sorry. And he's like, there's this residence. How long have you lived there? Have you lived there the entire time you're in California? I was like, yeah, just, the 6-ish, 9-ish years. And he's like, never thought to get a license, did you? I was like, I was in college. I would go home to Kansas in the summer. And he just shook his head no and walked back to his car. And then he gave me a ticket. And of course, as I'm getting the ticket, my spine has not returned. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that you did that. And then I drove home to do a daily. That story was way longer than I thought. 10% SC2, 90% story time!